Hello everyone. In the ninth video of this dynamic programming problem solving series, I will go over my solution to the problem named K-periodic Garland. This problem is taken from a Div 3 contest and is rated 1900. This problem is a good example of a problem in which dynamic programming can be used along with prefix and suffix sums to solve optimization based problems. So let's look at the problem statement. So in this problem, we are given a garland in the form of the string, and each character in the string can be either a 0 or a 1, which signifies that the lamp is on or off in the garland. And in one move, we can flip the bit of the string. So basically, we can change the state of a lamp. So if it was a 0, then that would become a 1, and if the character was a 1, by flipping it, we would make it a 0. And we need to find the minimum number of flips to make the garland k-periodic. So the definition of a k-periodic garland is a garland in which the distance between each pair of adjacent ones is exactly k. So ones is basically a turned on lamp, and we want the distance between every pair of adjacent ones to be exactly k. So for example, if k is 3, then these garlands are periodic because the distance between every pair of adjacent ones is exactly 3, as you can see, and these are not periodic because the distance between this one and this one is 2, which is not 3, and similarly the other two are not periodic. So in the first line of the input, we are given an integer t, and we have to solve the problem for t independent test cases, and in each test case n is up to 10 to the 6, where n is the length of the string and k is the distance between each pair of adjacent ones. And the sum of all n doesn't exceed 10 to the 6, so that means we need an n log n or n solution, O of n solution. So let's look at one sample test case. So actually there are 6 sample test cases and I've taken one of them. So we are given n is 10 and k is 3, and this is the original string. So the old string is this, and the new string is I've transformed the old string by flipping the first one to a 0, flipping the second one to a 0, and flipping a 1 to a 0 and another 1 to a 0, and I've flipped 4 bits, and hence the output is 4. So the key idea for the full solution is the following. So we use a 1D DP state. DP of I is the minimum number of flips so that the ith bit is a 1 and the ith bit is the last occurrence of a 1. So I'll just write it down. So this basically means that we need to make sure that all the string, the whole string from 1 to I is k periodic, and the I plus 1 to nth characters do not contain a 1. And that's all that's there in our DP state. So the final answer would just be, and this is because of what I've just written above, that we keep the position I to be the last occurrence of a 1, and from all the other positions from I plus 1 to n, we make them zeros. And this means that only S of I is equal to 1. All others are zeros. And in this case, dp of I would be the number of ones from 0 to I minus 1 plus 1 or 0, and depending on if S of I is a 1 or is a 0. We need to flip all ones from 0 to I minus 1 to become zeros, and we need to flip s of I so that it becomes a 1. So if s of I is 0, then we would add 1 to our dp value, and if s of I is 1, then we would add 0 to our value. And that's the case 1. In case 1, dp of I is just the number of ones from 0 to I minus 1 plus 1 or 0 depending on what s of I is. And in case 2, there are other characters which are ones, and this means that I minus k is the previous occurrence of a 1. And this is the whole idea behind the solution, which you need to realize, and that's the fact that I minus k will be the previous occurrence of a 1, and this should be clear based on the definition of a k-periodic Garland. A k-periodic Garland has this key property that the distance between each pair of adjacent turned on lamps is exactly k, and that means that the previous occurrence of a 1 should be at I minus k. And the reason why we need to flip all ones to zeros in positions I minus 1 to I minus k plus 1 is because I minus k should be the previous occurrence of a 1, and there's no so that there's no 1 between I minus k and I, and that's why we just need to find the value of the number of ones from the position I minus 1 to I minus k plus 1. The other thing to notice is that once we flip all ones to zeros from I minus 1 to I minus k plus 1, our cost is just dp of I minus k, and this is because we have a same subproblem of the same nature, but on position I minus k. And that's all that's there in our whole dp solution. We just need to consider these two cases. In case 1, we found that dp of I is number of ones from 0 to I minus 1 plus 1 or 0, and in this case dp of I is just dp of I minus k plus number of ones from I minus 1 to I minus k plus 1. So what's left to consider is that how do we efficiently find the number of ones in an interval, because in the first case and in the second case we need to find the number of ones in a range. So the simple way to do that is to use prefix sums, and we just define prefix sums in the normal way. Prefix sums of I from 1 to I, and hence we can compute dp of I in O of 1. So that's how we do the computation of the dp values, and the answer would just be the minimum of the previous answer which we found, and dp of I plus prefix sum of n minus 1 minus the prefix sum of I. And this is because we just convert all the, actually this should be prefix sum of n minus prefix sum of I, and this is because I is the last occurrence of a 1, and we convert all the other ones to zeros. So all the ones from I plus 1 to n, we convert them to 0, and that cost would be prefix sum of n minus prefix sum of I. And one additional thing to note is that in our base case, not in the dp state, But for the answer would just be initialized to prefix sum of n, which is the number of ones from 0 to n. Because we have to consider the case where there are no ones in the string, and that's why if you did not initialize this to prefix sum of n, then what you would notice is that you would get a wrong answer on this test case. In this test case, you would output 1, but the actual output is 0, and that's because you don't need to do any move, there are no ones, and hence we don't need to even find any of the DP values, and the answer would just be 0 because there are 0 ones in the string. And in general also, if we found a larger DP value, we need to initialize answer to be prefix sum of n, because that will be the base case in which there were no ones in the string. So let's just look at the code. In the code, first I took in t the number of test cases. For each test case, I call my solve function. The solve function does not accept any arguments, and it just takes in the values of n and k in the beginning and the string s, which is the original string. Then we have our prefix sums and the DP vectors, and we compute prefix sums. So prefix sum of I would be prefix sum of I minus 1 plus the value of s of I. If s of I is 1, then we would add 1 to prefix of I. Otherwise, we would add 0 to prefix of I. So a better way to write this would just be prefix of I is prefix of I minus 1. If s of I is a1, prefix of I plus plus. This is a better way to write the same thing. And we use I minus 1 because strings are 1 based indexing, and we are using, strings are 0 based indexing, and we are using 1 based indexing here. This is the base case for answer, which is just number of ones from 1 to n in the original string. And this is the computation of, in this code segment, I'm just computing the DP values. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, our cost would be 1 if s of I is 0, and 0 if s of I is 1. So this is basically the cost to change s of I to a 1. And we would just do, this is the first pass, this is case 1. So in case 1, we had the ith index. So index I is just only occurrence of a 1. So that's why we would have the cost plus prefix of I minus 1. So we would need to change all the values to a 0. So all the values from I minus 1 to 1, we would need to change them to 0. That's why we have prefix of I minus 1. So in case 2, what we are doing is, we are doing dp of I as minimum of dp of I plus the cost of changing s of I to a 1 plus dp of I minus k, because that's the previous occurrence of the 1. And we would need to make all the elements, all the values from I minus 1 to I minus k to a 0, and that's why we do prefix of I minus 1 minus prefix of I minus k. And in the end, we would just minimize answer with this current value of dp of I, and that would be answers minimum of answer comma dp of I plus the cost to change everything from I plus 1 to n to a 0, because I is the last occurrence of a 1. And that's all that's there in our DP state and our whole solution. So let's just submit this code to see that it gets accepted. So as you could see, my code got accepted. I hope you liked this video on my solution to this problem. As you could see, this problem was a nice problem on how we could use dynamic programming and prefix sums to solve optimization based problems. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing to my channel for more such content. Thank you.